Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Andrea Brunel, and I want to welcome all of you to ED130 Schools, Education, and Culture. We're going to be looking at schooling and education and how cultural influences of teaching and learning have impacted our educational system, as well as how schools are governed and organized. I'm going to be asking you to think a lot about your own educational experiences and also using current educational research and theory to reflect back on them. It's a quick class, only 6 weeks long. Just a few things before we start talking about what we're going to be working on this week. There's going to be 4 major assignments. There's going to be a presentation on a current event in education that's important to you, a mid-session paper, a classroom observation and reflection, connecting it to what you've been learning in the class. So that's something you want to think about, is where you're going to be doing your observation, and a final project and presentation about creating your ideal school. So for this class, important thing to know is all written work, actually pretty much all work, is required to be in APA format. That means for written work, you should always have the paper in APA format. So that would include a cover page and a reference page and in-text citations. If you choose to use Prezi or PowerPoint or any sort of technological way to demonstrate your learning, which I truly encourage, it's really fun to do things a little bit differently sometimes, make sure you turn in your a page with all of your references, or put them on the last slide, or whatever the presentation is. That's really important. Again, you're going to have to do a field observation. So make sure that you have access to a school. I know that we're in challenging times now, and rules about visitors in schools can change rapidly. So I would get right on your planning your observation as soon as possible. So in week 1, we're going to have an introduction to the field of education. What is school, what it's for, and why teach. So that's going to be how we're going to begin our conversation. And this week, there are a couple of assignments. One, to prepare for doing the assignments, you can either access online this book. It's called Fish in a Tree. You can read it. You can listen to it. You have access to both. I purchased mine at a used bookstore for like $2. So if you like actually holding a book in your hands, it's not a difficult book to come by. So you're going to be expected to read chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then there are a bunch of videos that I'd like you to watch. You're going to, for a couple of them, need to copy and paste into a Google search engine to find the videos, one from Ed Leadership and one from Ed Week Teacher, and then choose from 4 of the other videos that are in with your assignments for this week. So our assignments for this week that you're going to be turning in is going to be 1, our discussion, which is going to be a personal reflection. So I'd like you to introduce yourself, and there are directions for that in the module. And in part 2 of your post, talk about why do you think people teach, and describe a teacher that made a difference in your life, who was really special to you. Like when somebody asked me that, I think right back to a 6th grade teacher that I had that was really special to me and had a big influence on me. He was really a champion for me. And then what kind of an educator? Doesn't necessarily mean teacher. It could mean a teacher, an occupational therapist, a counselor, psychologist that you hope to be. Remember that your initial response to the prompt needs to be posted by Thursday at midnight. I encourage you to post earlier than that if you're able to. The earlier we begin posting, the more sort of back and forth discussion we can have, and the richer our discussions are. You can do video posts. But remember, just like with all of our other guidelines, you should be using references, which can be any of our materials that I have given you for this class, or something you find on your own. So if you're doing a written discussion post, especially your initial response to the prompt, make sure you use in-text citations and references. And if you're doing a video post, you can just, in writing in the post, write in line, just put your references right there. I hope that's helpful for you. And our other assignment this week is going to be summarizing the research on the key differences between schooling and education, and then highlighting 3 to 5 characteristics of what you think an effective school needs to have based on your own research. So you can use our readings and your own research. And again, you can choose to write a paper, or you're welcome to do a presentation using whatever technology you feel comfortable with, or that you'd like to try. So feel free to try something new. As I said in my introduction announcement, I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. I do have office hours. One of the easiest ways to get a hold of me is just to email me. If you just need a written response, I will usually get back to you within a few hours, at very most within the day. And if you really need to speak with me, and I love being able to meet you sort of virtually in person, just send me a couple of times that are good for you, and we will work something out to have a FaceTime call or a Zoom call, and we can have a conversation about whatever your questions or issues are. So remember, this week, university policy is that there are no late assignments, and that also you have to turn in assignments for this week, or the university does an administrative drop for week 1. So make sure you get your assignments in this week, because I don't have any control over the administrative drops. If anything comes up over the course of this class that's preventing you from doing your best in your work, get a hold of me. If there's something I can do to support you, I will happily do it. So it's a pleasure to meet all of you, and I look forward to seeing more of you over the course of the next 6 weeks. Have a great week. Bye-bye.